Hello, I'm Lauren Bussey. I was the Rural Scholar this year for Housing and Infrastructure. My focus was on rural housing in Ripley and Glencoe, Oklahoma. When I was coming up with the plan, I researched other programs that had looked into reviving rural infrastructure. Dr. Weckler, my mentor for the summer, stumbled across a program in Green River, Utah called Epicenter. Epicenter completed multiple studies and surveys over the housing situation in Green River and ultimately came up with a plan to improve conditions in their city, both through renovations and eventually they plan on doing new construction. For my evaluations of the housing in Ripley and Glencoe, I followed a similar methodology to rate the quality of the houses. I collected my data through a combination of walking through the cities and visually studying the homes, as well as looking at the Payne County Assessor's pictures. Sound homes were houses with little to no defect. Sound/needs repair homes were houses with a minor imperfection, such as paint chip or damaged non-structural components. Needs repair homes were houses that had some structural damage, such as roof sagging. Needs repair/dilapidated homes were houses that were starting to show signs of main structural failure. And finally, dilapidated homes were houses that were no longer livable. After completing my observations, I compared my findings to the data from the Payne County Assessor's website. I found that there was a slight discrepancy between what the assessor had documented and the actual conditions of the houses, as you can see in my pie charts. The county assessor also provided data about housing value based off the last transaction recorded for the property. In Ripley, the majority of housing was valued below $50,000. According to Zillow, the median house price in Oklahoma right now is roughly $155,000. Also, the assessor's data claims that over half of the homes in Ripley are less than average quality. The discrepancy of the data of housing quality held true for Glencoe as well. Overall, though, the data was fairly in agreement with the data that I had gathered. Both the single-family homes and manufactured homes in Glencoe were at a higher percent of housing value, more than $50,000 than Ripley. Still yet, roughly half the housing was valued less than $50,000. More homes in Glencoe were valued at or above average than those in Ripley. As well as looking into the condition and value of the homes in these two cities, I also compared the number of homeowners that lived at the house they own and the number of homeowners that do not live at the house they own. Many owners, especially in Ripley, lived at an address that was in a different city. This can contribute to absentee owners, which is a term I used for owners who own property but do not keep up with the repairs or maintenance. In addition to absentee owners, other complications include residents who are unable or unwilling to fix things when they break, an inability for people to dump housing waste, and lack of funds or resources to renovate, tear down, or build housing. One of the biggest obstacles I found was that cities were unable to fund the demolition and removal of dilapidated houses. This is often due to inadequate sales tax generation, since these cities do not have more than a few businesses. A couple ideas on how to alleviate the problem would be to encourage entrepreneurs to start businesses in the city or to add a small fee to the utility bill for a beautification fund. Otherwise, cities should follow through with enforcement of their ordinances and make information about loan and grant programs readily available to the citizens. To renew a rural community, action must be taken from multiple sides in order to be efficient. The decline in housing can determine whether new families, workers, or others move to a city, which ultimately causes the decline in businesses and therefore less funding if they choose not to live in the city. Through funding assistance and volunteers, the housing quality in a city can be improved and therefore become more attractive to prospective residents, who will then bring more business into the town. The next step for this project should be to create and distribute a resource to the city so that they can make it available to their citizens. This resource will detail different loan and grant programs for both municipalities and individuals so that the funds for renovation or new construction can become available. The next scholar could continue gathering data in Hollis, Oklahoma, and use both visual inspections and a drone to determine if any of the residential or commercial properties are worth saving or if they should be demolished. I would like to thank my mentor, Dr. Weckler, as well as the entire OSU Rural Renewal Initiative team. And I would also like to thank Brenda Ross, the owner of Ross Station, Shelley Andrews, the town clerk of Glencoe, and anyone else who might have helped me this summer for my research. Thank you.